Have you ever felt torn between wanting connection and feeling like it's really selfish to be happy right now? When the world feels this unsteady, who we decide to date can actually have a massive impact on our mental health. So today, I thought we would talk about and I would share 20 questions that I compiled to help you date more intentionally. Let's get into it.
Your Southern Lesbian, traveling the globe again from London to California with a little bit of Carolina.
Hey y'all, I'm Ashley Hydrick, your host of Your Southern Lesbian. Welcome back. It is Valentine's week. What does that mean in lesbian world? Like, do you buy flowers for each other? Yes. Say yes. Do you both plan the date? Say yes. I'm going to get a lot of pushback on that. Anyway, I love it. Y'all, I'm such a big romantic at heart. I love days like this. I know there are a lot of people who don't. Okay, so if you're in a couple, listen, this doesn't just apply to singles. You guys can still talk about these and talk about where you're headed because it never hurts to have a check-in once in a while, right? But I mean, today mainly is for the singles. I know that here on this channel, we don't always talk about dating. I have been trying to talk about other things and y'all keep watching the dating episodes. So today I'm diving back in for a moment because it's Valentine's Day. So how can we not talk about it? So let's talk about emotional regulation right now. Where we are in the world is so important. And y'all, on a daily basis, I struggle with the things that I post, both on Your Southern Lesbian and the things that I share just amongst my friends, because everybody's emotions are on edge. Like I saw somebody question the other day and said, does anybody else feel like their senses are extremely heightened right now to noises? Like you cannot stand being, in an environment where the music's a little bit louder or the crowd's a little bit louder or whatever. And I've been feeling this way for a while, and chances are a lot of you are. Some people say that's ADHD and maybe an intolerance to that sort of thing, but it also can be emotional dysregulation. And God knows what we're living through right now. Huge emotional dysregulation, right? We're not in a moment in time where I feel like it's appropriate for us to turn a blind eye to what's happening, right? I'm not going to get on my soapbox. Everybody has to decide for themselves what that looks like, how they feel like they can show up, if they can show up. I understand that not everybody can physically do that. I understand that people's mental health is hugely important too, and you have to take that into consideration. Y'all, please try to give people grace, give each other grace. Like the battle that we're fighting right now is not lateral. It's not really with the people that we're talking to on our platforms, even though it may feel that way. The battle is with those guys that are trying to control us. Anyway, hopefully that will start to work itself out down the line. Again, that's not why I'm here right now. But it brings me to the point of, y'all, this has popped up for me a few times in the last couple days. And when things continue to sort of pop up on my radar over the course of a couple of days, I always pay attention to them because I feel like it's a little whisper from the universe, right? So this concept of superposition has been popping up for me. And I'm like, I don't know what that is. Nobody's ever, I know that, what's that band that they had a song called Superposition. It was real fun. What was that band called? That was a fun song, right? Anyway, I didn't even know what they were talking about. I just thought it was a fun song. Superposition, without going into the quantum mechanics of it all, just basically means that you're at this crux of where choices that you could make in your life can take you down many different paths. And I feel like for sure I'm at this place right now and I feel it. How does it reveal itself to you? Well, for me personally right now, I'm seeing that work, could go this way or that way for me, depending on what I put my energy into. I'm single and, going out with people again. So as I'm dating people, huge choices, right? I could go this way, I could go that way. Partners have a huge impact on your life, the biggest impact on your life. So choosing intentionally is very important. In choosing this partner, we want to make sure that we're choosing someone who helps our emotional regulation, right now, because right now emotional regulation is everything, and I'm going to explain to you why. I mean, y'all already know why, but I'm just going to explain it to you again. This is why people in the spiritual community or even just mental health community continue to preach meditation or activities that you love that can work off adrenaline and that sort of thing. Because by doing these things, by walking in nature, by doing things that you love, by being around people that are kind to you, by playing with a pet, talking to your animals, your plants, whatever it is you do that helps you stay regulated, what that does for you is it allows your intuition to come through. Because when we're dysregulated, we tend to react from fear, right? We know this because we've talked about this in past episodes, even in dating, right? So if you're fearful in your relationship, when things pop up, you're going to react to that and feel like you're being attacked or question what your partner is doing or maybe be curious about what's on their phone or whatever it may be. So we want to, as much as possible, as often as possible, regulate ourselves and make sure that we're coming from a place where we can get still enough, we can get quiet enough to allow our own intuition to step in, because that's going to help us to make grounded choices in the way we respond. This doesn't just apply to dating, right? I mean, it absolutely is going to apply to you in dating. Take your time with this. Don't rush through this process. I beg of you, take time with your dating process. Take time to get to know these people before diving in too much, because this is how we protect ourselves moving forward, right? This applies to life. This applies to being online right now, on social media, in my life. And this is just me speaking. Everybody has to, again, decide this for themselves. You know, there are people that are born to be lawyers, attorneys, who can fight that battle differently than I can, right? I'm not born for that. For me, I've always found that if I want someone to hear what I have to say, hear my side of the story, it's much better for me to come from a place of inspiring them versus trying to shove it down their throat, right? Nobody wants to listen to that. I'm not going to hear you if you do that to me. So I think this is where I'm coming from with today. So it's that analogy, right? I heard somebody else online say that if you look at everything as a nail and you consider yourself the hammer, that's how you're going to approach all your problems in life. But if you change that mindset and you look at a softer way to approach your problems, and you don't look at everything as a nail you got to pound into the ground, and if you don't look at every situation as an obstacle, and if you don't look at every person as an obstacle, but maybe you start to get quiet, get grounded, and say, okay, universe, I've showed up with my part of what I feel like I'm supposed to be doing here to get to point A. I know that in life now, I've been living on this earth long enough to know that you, higher self, energy, universe, God, whatever you want to call it, you are here to co-create with me. So I have to allow some space for that, right? And what does that look like? So this is what I'm talking about, y'all. I'm sorry, I know I'm all over the place, but it took me a long time to understand this. And when it finally clicked for me, I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to share this with y'all, because maybe hearing this will click for you differently too. How does this tie back to dating, you might ask? Well, I'm going to tell you. What that means is show up. Have your questions ready. Be really thoughtful about how you're moving forward. Put the questions out there and don't worry about how she responds. Take it as information. Take your time. Step back. Allow the universe to do its thing and move pieces around and show you whether this is an aligned path for you or not. And if it's not, then trust that somebody else is going to come into your sphere that is aligned for you. Yeah. All right. So let's get into it. Look, these are just questions that I've come up with that I think are going to help me weed through some, I don't want to say weed through, that's rude, isn't it? Y'all know what I mean. These are the questions that are going to help me pull feedback out of people to see if we're aligned or not. Number one, going for the big one right off the bat. What are your non-negotiables in a relationship? We already know this. We've talked about this many times on this podcast, right? Well, guess what? If you're going to ask somebody else that, you also need to know your answer to this. And I'm going to say you need to know all your answers to these questions. So take this list, Journal this out and really like spend like a Saturday morning or Sunday morning with your coffee, with a candle lit, maybe a little gentle music on in the background. Just give yourself some time and space to really like breathe through these and get really clear on what you want. It's going to help you so much, because then when your potential partner steps in front of you, you're going to recognize it. And likewise, if Broomhilda steps in front of you, you're going to recognize her too and say, no, thank you. Number 2, what kind of relationship are you hoping to build? That's a big question. I get it. But what kind of relationship are you hoping to build? This is going to be different for everybody. Let's pare it down to the basics. So start with like, are you looking for long-term? Are you looking for marriage? Are you looking for a little fun right now? Are you looking for casual? Are you looking for something while you live in X city for the next year? Like, just be very clear on that. Hey, I'm really not interested at this point in doing anything but dating somebody that's going to have really long-term potential. I'm in it for the long haul. So I'm just letting you know that, that's where I'm going to be looking at this from. Number 3, where do you see yourself growing old? Well, not everybody's going to know that right off the bat. That's fine. They don't have to know. You don't have to know. But have an idea of what that space looks like. I'm sorry, y'all. The heater, it just talks all the time. It's loud. Just ignore her. At this point, she needs a name. She talks as much as I do. But seriously, like, I know that can y'all even see me through the glare? All right. I know that for me, growing older, I want space in something that looks like a countryside. I want animals. I want my family around me, meaning my partner. And I don't have kids, but if she has a child or children, let's have space for them to be around. I want dogs. I don't have to have horses in the backyard, but I need them like walkable to me, and I need to be able to lease one that I can ride once or twice a week and have a relationship with. I know that that's what I want in my life. I also want to be not more than an hour from a city with a nice gay community, right? And culture and options of fun things for us to go do. I'm just a bit of both in that world. So I'm trying to figure out what that looks like, right? I also love pickleball at this point. I want a great pickleball community. It doesn't have to be gay, but kudos if I can find one that's also gay, and my other straight community, because my straight friends are just as dear to me at this point through pickleball and other areas, as the gay community. So I'm starting to look, where in the world can I have all of those things, right? And also, I'm a writer, I'm a podcaster. I can do that from home, sure, but I have to have a bit of like a film community, creative community. So therein lies that city and those types of cities. So, hey, y'all can tell me your ideas on this too. I've already done a little bit of research, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on that if you also live in a place like this. But what does that look like for you? So start to list your things out like that, and then maybe start to do a little research on your own of like, hey, these are the 10 things I want when I settle down somewhere. And don't worry about, it's got to be what my partner wants too. No, I want you to get clear on what you want first, because we're attracting in someone that aligns with us, right? Yes, please just do it. Number 4, how important is routine versus spontaneity to you? Now, this, when I was making this list, ended up being a bigger deal to me than I thought it would be, because I think it depends on where I am in my life. I've noticed that, dating different people, like some of them are really spontaneous and like, hey, let's go to Edinburgh this weekend or wherever. And I'm like, shit, if I'm really busy, that feels like stress to me. But if I've got everything done, that sounds amazing to me. Yeah, let's go, What does it look like to me right now may be different than it will a year from now, when certain things have landed a little bit different for me in my business, or it might not. I mean, who knows? But just have an idea, so your partner knows what to expect with you on a week-to-week basis. Number 5, oh, this is a big one, y'all. Are you close to your family? This used to be the first thing I would ask my dates from a young age. Like, I don't know why, I just always knew that the ties to your family and what that looks like to you, it just says so much. It says so much about how you move through the world. I think it is important. Maybe you don't have to tell her your whole history on date 1, but I think it's so important, for them to know how you interact with your mother, your father, if they're around, when they were around. Is that relationship good? Is there a reason that you're estranged? What about siblings? What about, do you have any aunts and uncles that you've cut ties with? Is everybody welcome in your family? I think it just helps your partner understand where you're coming from. And I certainly want to know that about you if we're dating, right? I want to know. Like, it just helps me understand if I hear you on the phone with somebody and I'm like, I wonder why she gets defensive on the phone with so-and-so. Well, maybe there's a good reason for that. It's also really none of my business until you tell me. But you know what I mean? If that's something that you're comfortable sharing up front, I just think it's a beautiful vulnerability and it helps your partner understand you. Number 6. How do you like to spend your weekends? Now, this is important because your idea of fun on the weekend may not be the same as your partner's idea of fun on the weekends. And if y'all have a really busy work week, then how do you know that you're showing up for each other, right? In the beginning, it's all puppies and kitties and rainbows, and everybody wants to be around each other 1,000% of the time, which is why I think that it's very important to have this conversation up front so that when the puppies and kitties and rainbows and unicorns start to wane a little bit, and normal life starts to set into a lesbian relationship, that you're not taken off guard, you're not surprised by it and maybe get your feelings hurt a little bit by it. So if your partner values a lot of friend time on the weekends, then it's good for you to know. And does that work for you or not? Does she want to integrate those friendships with you, or is she expecting to be able to have that time on her own? Do you guys want to build with friends? And I'm not saying that you guys need to know what the end game is for the weekends yet, but you should pretty much have a good idea, because where you put your attention is where your heart is, right? So yeah, I think it's just super important to know. And if you, like me, also need some time to yourself, well, that's important for your partner to know as well, too, right? And kind of be prepared to answer that, or at least be able to tell her what your weekends look like right now and what you like about that and what you'd like more of. Number 7, what does home feel like to you? Well, to me, it feels like sanctuary. And that looks different for everybody. Are you somebody that needs to shut off after a long day, a stressful day at work? Do you need time when you get home to come and just, turn everything off for a while and not have your partner talking to you for a little while before you come together? Or do you want to dive straight in? You can't wait to be together. Cook a dinner, put on some music. Like, what does that look like for you? And down to things like, do you love bright colors and the other one loves earth tones? And how can you see yourself maybe integrating those things? Whatever. That's not a non-negotiable maybe, but maybe it is. I don't know. Again, these are things that you have to decide for yourself. What does home look like to you? What's important in a home? Do you like music on all the time? Do you like it quiet all the time? If not, what does that look like? What kind of music do you like on in the house? You know what I mean? Do you like a clean home? Are you okay if somebody's a little messy? Talk about it. Talk about it. Number 8, this is a big one. How do you handle conflict when it comes up? I am at a point where I have learned over the past couple of years, the triggers that I have that I hope that I have worked through now. I have learned to recognize them when they come up, thank God. But that is huge work, And it's huge when someone can recognize that for themselves and want to do that work. So how do you handle conflict when it comes up? Do you react? Do you bite? Do you retreat? Do you get really quiet while you're processing and need to step away for a while? And do you communicate that? Are you capable of communicating that when you're upset and when you maybe feel like someone has assumed something about you, but maybe they haven't, but you don't know that? You know what I mean? Like, how do you, when you take things personally, can you separate the two? And what do you need in those moments to feel safe? Number 9, are pets important to you? They really are to me, but not all pets. Look, I'm not going to date somebody who likes boa constrictors and wants to have one in the house. Yes, I have met people who own pythons in the South, in their homes. No, thank you. I'm going to say no thank you to that, and I'm also going to tell you you're probably really straight. I do love animals. I don't want every kind of animal, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm a little prejudiced that way, and I'm allowed to be. I am much more of a dog person, but not every dog. Just saying, like I like certain personality types on dogs, and I like a certain fluff level on a dog. Hey, don't come at me. I'm just saying, it's important to have these conversations, right? Some people are terrified of dogs and terrified of horses and don't want anything to do with them. And I've met those people and thought, my God, I don't know if I can trust you. Just kidding. And then there's cat people. Look, I don't mind cats. I don't love living with a cat. I've had cats. I don't like that they walk on the kitchen counters. That bugs me a little bit. After they've been in a litter box, it's kind of like, I don't like it. Don't come at me, I know. But I do think they're really sweet. I love it when they purr. I love it when they want to like climb on you and love on you and rub up against you. I love all that. And I understand it comes with the territory. So whatever. I can kind of take it or leave it. But some people feel very passionately one way or the other, and you need to know. Maybe your pet hamster is not going to be accepted in her house. You need to know this, right? All right, y'all, number 10. How do you like to give and receive affection? AKA, what is your love language, right? I am a big words of affirmation, big. But I also need physical touch. Some people stand very strongly one way or the other with the 5 love languages, and you can look up what they all are. What are they? They're words of affirmation, physical touch, acts of service. I love me a good acts of service as well, and I like to do that for people as well. I can't remember what the other 2 are. Anyway, look them up, whatever. I'm just saying, I don't think that I want just one, but I can tell you that I will notice if I'm missing any of them in my life. I kind of want a little bit of all 5. I'm just saying, I think I deserve that. Number 11, are holiday traditions important to you? And if so, which ones? Well, yeah, because, if your family is spread out in all different areas of the country or the world or whatever, and she wants to be with her family every Christmas, and you want to be with your family every Christmas, what does that look like? Y'all are going to have to sort that out, right? Can you go here on one and here on one, or whatever? Does she want a Christmas tree in the house? Are you Jewish? Do you guys want to celebrate Kwanzaa? Do you want to have a menorah? Do you want to also have a Christmas tree? What are the traditions that you're bringing into your family? And especially if you have kids or you're planning on having kids, how do you see that happening? What traditions do you want to honor for them? Not even just in your dating relationship, but as we get older, my parents, my dad has already passed. My mom is still around, but my brothers and sister and I are starting to have those conversations about what traditions do we as the siblings want to keep alive so that we stay connected as we're spread out all over the place, right? That's really important to talk about as you get older because as I'm living away from them, those times are precious. So it's important to me that I get a couple times a year, quality time with them. Number 12, how do you recharge when life gets busy? How do you recharge when life gets busy? Well, for me, y'all already know. It's pickleball, it's horseback riding, it's music, it's meditation, maybe a little bit of yoga. I'm starting to do a little bit more yoga thrown in there, listening to podcasts, listening to audiobooks, being in nature, walks in nature, bike riding. I love those Lime bikes, y'all. They're so fun. I love e-bikes. Watching a really fun, escapist, romantic comedy. Oh my God, I love it. And likewise, writing romantic comedy. That's super fun for me. But what is it for you? And what is it for your partner? What are the things that y'all have in common that you can plan together that'll light each other up? Or on the flip side of that, do you need space? Does she need space? Just talk about it. Number 13, when you're stressed, what kind of support do you want from a partner? Now, we already kind of touched on this, but again, this is a huge one, and please, God, talk about it so that you don't get your feelings hurt if your partner comes through the door and she's angry and it has nothing to do with you, so that you can separate the two and go, okay, I remember when we had that conversation early on and she told me that this is kind of how stress can show up on her, and I know that in those moments she needs me to leave her alone for an hour while she sorts herself and gets settled and maybe has a bath and gets back to baseline before she can engage with me. So I'm just going to leave her alone for a little while and let her do her thing. Number 14, what does commitment mean to you at this stage? Does it mean monogamy? Does it mean open relationship? Does it mean I see you once a week? Does it mean we're on this path of seeing how we fit into each other's lives, but we're taking it slowly? And what does that mean? And what does it look like? Are we talking every day? I know you don't want to plan everything out to the nth detail because that takes all the fun, all the romance, all the mystery out of it, but at least have a rough idea of like, I want to know if you're looking at monogamy. That's pretty much all I need to know to start. Like, let's step one, monogamy, and I'm headed for this. Those are the two things that kind of need to line up for me right away so that I know that we're vaguely on the same page. Number 15, what's something that you're genuinely excited about right now in your life? And I love this because you get to sort of watch the way she lights up about stuff and you get to understand a bit more about the things that make her tick. Is it a project she's working on? Is it a new hobby she's picked up? Is it something she's read? Is it a musical show she went to and new music she's just found? Is it getting involved politically or with a grassroots supportive campaign right now, and the energy of it just feels really promising and positive? Could it be something like that? I love hearing about what people are getting excited about in their lives right now because we need that. Number 16, how do you feel about where you live right now? Fair question, do you see yourself staying here forever? You want to live in a different part of the city or a part of the country or bigger house, downsize, whatever it may be. What does it look like to you right now? Number 17, what does being settled look like to you? Now, this isn't the same as endgame necessarily because it depends on where you are in your life, how old you are in your life, do you want to settle in one place for the rest of your life? I mean, back in the day, that kind of made sense for like our parents and their parents maybe, but these days, my God, we have access to talk to people all over the world. It can look like, you living in different countries. So what does settled look like to you? And especially what does it look like with a partner? To me, kind of feels like having a home base somewhere that we can pop into and out of, but I really would love to digital nomad it for a while. I would love to travel the world with my partner and be able to set up camp in different places and experience different things and vegan resorts and be able to work from there, be able to do this and screenwrite and book write from wherever. Doesn't that sound glorious? If I'm allowed to say whatever I want, that's what I'm going to say right now. And that may only be for a couple of years, right? But it sure would be fun to try it for a while or set up home base and just make it a regular thing that every once in a while, we get to go travel and do these things. I just feel like it's such a big, beautiful world and I'm a double Sagittarius. I want to see things, y'all. Number 18, what does community look like in your life? Now, this one is very important to me because, I don't know, I just feel safer knowing that I'm in a city that has gay community. Cities that are open to gay community have always felt more safe to me. They're more liberal. Honest to God, I don't know how I've been lucky enough to do this, but I went from South Carolina to Atlanta when I was younger, which was a little bit more liberal, y'all. Still Bible Belt, but a little bit more of a gay community, still close to home. Jumped over to Los Angeles, which was mega accepting and wonderful and beautiful gay community, and I loved it. And then to London? Like, are you joking? London is by far the most accepting place that I've ever been and lived because it's also so multinational, multi-culti, We're this little English-speaking country amidst all these other countries right here in Europe, You've got French, Italian, Indian, Arab, African, Eastern European. You've got a little bit of everything. And every day when I get on the tube or the train, I hear different languages being spoken. Now, people in South Carolina might freak out at that. Some people are afraid of that. I have never understood that because when you live in a place like this that is so open and accepting of everybody, nobody needs to be defensive. Nobody has anything to fight. It's really cool, y'all. I love it. I love the vibe of living in a city like this. I love the vibe of watching people that are multicultural, whatever, interracial, lesbian, gay, trans, whatever you want, whatever they want, holding hands, walking down the street, and nobody looks twice at them. Everybody just gets to live their life. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that what you think life is supposed to be? Nobody should be trying to control anybody else, right? That's my take on it. Number 19, what does a good holiday actually look like for you? All right, now, here we go again, y'all. I don't like heat, like extreme heat. I'm talking big heat. So when people that I date and we're in the hottest part of the summer tell me they want to go to a hotter place at the beach, sometimes I'm like, have you lost your marbles? But then again, I don't like extreme cold either. Let's be real. I'm picky, y'all. Whatever. What does a great holiday look like to you? I like to explore. I don't want to explore anything that feels dangerous. So don't take me anywhere dangerous. Take me to places that I can explore cultures. That's what I would say, right? Like, that's fun to me. Take me on horseback riding adventures. Holy cow, yes, please. Take me boating. Yes, please. Take me to Greece. Yes, please. I know. Again, listen, I'm expensive. What can I say? I'm allowed to put it out there. And number 20, how do you imagine sharing life with somebody day to day? Like, what does your just actual day look like? What do you want it to look like? I obviously need space to do this without somebody walking in and interrupting me and you know what I mean? I would love to do this with somebody too at some point, by the way. Not full time, maybe. I mean, we'll see who she is, you know? We have to vet her. But it would be fun to have somebody that can bounce in and out of this, right? I would love that. I would love that. But I also need somebody who really respects my creative space and that there are going to be projects that I want to do with her and projects that I don't want to do with anybody, or projects that I want to do with this creative partner over here because I see that person makes sense for this. And I just want somebody that respects that. My soul came here for, I think, creative relationships, both romantic and platonic. So I want somebody that respects that and allows that space. Ashley, we're talking about day to day. Okay, fine. Sorry. This is starting to feel like a personal What does your day-to-day look like? Are you an early morning person? Do you like to get up and make breakfast and coffee for her? Do you want somebody to do it for you? And are you going to take care of dinner? What is it? At the end of your day, how do you like to unwind and decompress? Are you going to zone out and watch a show together? Maybe. Are you going to read together? Maybe. Is one going to do one and one the other? Maybe. Anyway, that is what I've got for y'all today on this. And as always, I thank you so much for being here. And if you haven't already subscribed, honest to God, it helps me so much. Please hit that subscribe button and follow along. I'm so happy that you're here. Now, I also did a little short on this a week or so ago, but I want to bring it up one more time, okay? Right now, all is well and good on ye old YouTube, right? So we're good to be here. Who knows how long we'll be good on Instagram and TikTok? I don't know. I'm hoping everything's going to be fine. I'm not abandoning ship on either of those platforms, but I am saying let's also back ourselves up on the Blue Sky, right? Just do it, y'all. When you get off here, just join and follow me on Blue Sky, because God forbid if anything happens with any of those platforms and we need an alternate, safer, non-billionaire affiliated way to communicate, Blue Sky has this great little, I don't really understand this, y'all, but Blue Sky has like a secondary app to it called Skylight. You have to set up the Blue Sky account, but then you download the app Skylight, and it's like TikTok, basically. It's just this, thing where you scroll through and see your creators. I think they said it's not algorithm based, and they think that's a good thing. I'm on the fence about that, because I kind of like that my algorithm introduces me to people and things that I'm interested in and that I can learn more about. We'll see how that all has yet to unfold. I think they're getting a little bit overwhelmed right now because so many people are joining. I'll put it at the bottom of the screen here because I can't remember. It's like at ahydrick.bluesky. I don't know. I'll put it down here for you so we get it right, okay? And those of you who are just listening and not watching, just check the show notes. I'll put it in the show notes. Thank you for being here. I'm so grateful for y'all, and please let me know where you're listening from. If there's something I've missed in this list, I'm sure that there is. You guys drop it below. Like, this is supposed to be community space too. I want you guys to be able to come back to these videos, look at the comments, use them as resources, throw out things that can help each other. Honest to God, this is how inept I am on this channel, y'all. I saw that little community tab and I thought, oh my God, this is so cool on YouTube. We can actually form this little space where everybody can talk to each other here, right? Wouldn't that be cool? I don't know why they don't develop that. You're welcome, YouTube. But it doesn't seem to be that. So Anyway, y'all just feel free always under these videos to talk amongst yourselves. But I always want to know where in the world you are. I want to know if you're seeing things in your corner of the world that could help this community. You know, what are y'all doing socially to engage, to build community, to help each other out? We are in very interesting times right now, right? And as we're starting to collect each other, form community, build this, you know, for God knows what's to come. I mean, I really, really want to make sure that we all stay connected. And that is why I want y'all to please just go follow on Blue Sky right now as well. Doesn't mean that I'm going to abandon ship here. It just means that if something happens, we don't have to worry about it. We're just going to carry on as if nothing even happened. And we're going to carry on our conversation and plan and organize and do whatever it is we need to do there, right? 'Tis where we are. Anyway, y'all have a wonderful week. I will see you next time here. Okay, happy Valentine's Day. I pray that someone sends you beautiful roses. All right, y'all. Sending you so much love. Have a wonderful week. Bye, y'all. Just a reminder, y'all, I'm not a doctor. Everything I share here is for entertainment and encouragement, not medical advice. The views you hear are mine or my guests, not my sponsors. Any similarity to real people is purely coincidence.